Less complicated is the 3D pawn who moves left or right through the cube surface, staying on a given height level, having at most 2 move options, as it does not move backwards or diagonal. All pieces in 3D XYZ chess capture how they move, including the 3D pawn. Which, as you may know, is different than classic chess. The classic chess pawn captures diagonal and moves straight. Thus, it is the only piece in either game to capture in a different manner than it moves. There is no en passant in 3D XYZ chess. The 3D playing region sits diagonally between opponents. The 3D pawn can move left or right towards the opposite corner, left or right, until the 3D pawn gets to the final cube, either here, 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 or here, at which time the 3D pawn is exchanged for a 3D queen. The bishop moving through the 12 edges of a cube is a very powerful piece, not to mention the fact that it's a traveling piece, so it can also move more than one move in a given direction. The queen can move diagonal like the bishop, but can also move straight, adding 6 more move options. It's a traveling piece, but what makes the queen really powerful is it can move to both black and white cubes, being able to access 100% of the board when the bishop can only access 50% of the board. You may begin to ask, why are these cubes stretched? They're stretched to mimic the actual clear playing board, and the actual clear playing board is stretched so that both players can get their hands inside to move the pieces. But you should know that although these rectangles are stretched, they still have 6 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 edges, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 8 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not just a game of chess on 4 separate levels. As you will see, this surface is just as much of a level as this surface, or this surface is just as much of a level as this surface, and everything in between. My job is to make you see you're playing inside a Rubik's Cube and not playing on 4 separate levels. These are the 4 pieces that move through the cube surface. The first I'll talk about is the king, who moves exactly like this star in 6 directions through the surface, 1 space at a time and not diagonal. The rook also moves like the king, but the rook may continue on to the edges of the board like this prop. The queen moves like the rook to the edges of the board, but the queen may also move diagonal in a multitude of directions to the edges of the board. The pawn moves through the cube surface in only 2 of the 6 directions, to the left or to the right, moving not backwards nor diagonal, nor changing height levels. A cube has 12 edges, And this is how the 3D bishop and 3D queen move. They're both traveling pieces, so they both continue on into extended directions. The 3D queen moves also straight to the edges of the board, so has an additional 6 move options for a total of 18 original move directions, and more, many more, with extended move options because they're traveling pieces. And finally, as a cube has 8 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 3D knight has an original 8 move options, moving through the XYZ plane. And only allowed to move one space at a time. So the original 8 move options of the 3D knight are its only move options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Be aware the 3D queen does not move triagonal like the 3D knight. The object of the game is to place your opponent's 3D king in checkmate. Doing so wins the game. Checkmate is a situation that occurs when a 3D king is currently in check and does not have a legal move that will get him out of check. Stalemate is a tie when a player whose 3D king is not in check has no available legal moves. Check occurs when a player moves to threaten a 3D king. Check is to be announced. The player then has the option to move his 3D king to an unthreatened cube, block the attack, or capture the attacking piece. Otherwise, this is checkmate. Good luck.